Right, lads, guest number 1, guest number 2, welcome back, much appreciated.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Pleasure, mate, as always.
No worries. So the plan for this was we're going to do a wee sort of preview for the Euros, so we'll just jump right into it. How would you think of the squad and how you think we're going to get on?
I think, well, we're struggling with the strikers. That's the big thing, isn't it? Obviously, with Lyndon Dykes' injury, that's a big setback.
Who do you think you should bring in? Obviously he's brought this, but is it Tommy Conway up for Bristol City, who looks alright, but you think you bring in anybody else? Or?
I think we only plays one, doesn't it? So it's not going to be too loaded with strikers or centre forwards. This young boy obviously scored the all night. I think he's going to play, is it Friday we play as well? He's going to get a run out then. And just see how he is. It's hard to think about first game. And I don't think he'll start, obviously, but you don't really want to make his debut at the Euros. You'd like to sort of get a feel at first.
Genuinely a bit gutted about the boy Doak. I think he could have been our wild card. He could have been our Rooney. And I mean, even Mike Owen. England have always had this kind of knack of bringing through young players who were kind of untried and untested at international level, and then they came in and smashed it. So I thought he could have been that kind of wild card for us, where nobody kind of knew what he had. And, looking at it now, it's like he likes a big target man, doesn't he, Clarke? He likes somebody, maybe even McBurney, maybe even he can come into the squad, but I think there's too much against him in terms of stuff he's kind of said in the past about the Scotland squad and stuff, and no getting picked, not hitting her. Steve Clarke likes kind of loyalty. I think he might come in and cause a wee bit of disharmony. I think that's the only problem. The boy Ross Stewart, I think, would have been a good shout at Sunderland if he's been injured most of the season. It just seems like really, really bad timing for us just now when it comes to strikers, doesn't it? With tournament coming up.
A few folk are making a shout for that. Armstrong at Kilmarnock sort of saying that maybe he should be in the squad as like a different option. Obviously had a great season, but it doesn't. I'm not sure he's going to call up another player. It's not clear what's happening.
I think McTominay can maybe step in, couldn't he? He maybe play a wee bit higher. Maybe McTominay maybe plays a centre forward, kind of false nine, whatever you want to call it. Maybe fill that gap. Maybe James Forrest could even come in and play in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a couple of options, but I don't think they're going to be first choice options, are they?
No, he's going to play Adams, and rightly so. Adams is our best striker. He's going to start with Adams, and obviously hopefully there's a business.
No matter what happens, Adams is your first choice striker. I think Shankland's your second choice. So whoever's coming in, you touched on Ross Stewart. I've obviously got a soft spot for Ross, but he gives you a different option as well. He can sort of peel off onto the left hand side. If you want to go a wee bit more direct, he can do that. It works well coming in off the left. But it's that different option. But he's been out for most of the season. He get in it, get back in at the end of the season. There, I did ask last night. He's no, I don't think he's in contention. So that's a shame, as you say. Bad timing. There's a few. Lewis Ferguson, obviously Lyndon Dykes. There's a few guys that are lost. I think Hickey as well. Good players.
Patterson.
It's a shame.
I mean, so as you say, there's a few boys there who, again, looking at it, maybe going forward, next 2-3 years are going to be stick-ons. Ferguson, Hickey, Patterson, even I think Stewart could come back into the fold in the future. Scotland, they kind of lack this player in the final third, and we always have.
Aye.
I don't think Shankland's the option. I genuinely don't. I watched Shankland week in, week out, obviously seeing his link with Rangers, and I think that would be a bad move for Rangers, personally speaking. He's not the kind of player that I would want. And in terms of international setup, I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's enough pace. He's a very, very kind of wily kind of character. His movement's good off the ball, but I don't think he's got enough to get away from a kind of last defender in international football.
I totally agree with the sort of the burst of pace to get away, get in behind. He likes to sort of come and get it into feet, play maybe. He does play up front for Hearts also, but he can also come into that hole just behind. And I think we need somebody who's going to go up against centre halves and get knockdowns and flick-ons. I don't think that's his strong point. Poaching in the box, I think he's definitely the best finisher. But I don't think we can have our centre forwards going to have a big part in the game, and getting the ball there, sticking the ball, getting the team up next to him. And I think that's how Shea Adams will definitely get the nod for that.
Honestly, I think Shea Adams is underrated. I think he's had a wee bit of a kind of bad press in a Scotland jersey. You watch him at Southampton, they rate him really highly down there. He's got the attributes to be a really, really good player, especially at international level. He does have that pace, which is good enough for him to play at a higher level than what he's playing at just now, I think, personally speaking. And he's one who I think he's a very, very, very much like most strikers, but he's a confidence player. And I think when his head's down, his whole game's down. So I think if he gets a wee run of games, maybe even gets a goal early on, I think he could potentially go and have a good tournament.
It kind of reminds me a wee bit of the way Kenny Miller was. Like, you would just, defenders wouldn't enjoy playing against him. Playing to a run in, he's going to really shut you down. He's going to nip at your ankles. And I think that causes problems. He can come and play it short, but he can go in behind as well. And as I say, we're going to need, as much as we've got players who can maybe keep the ball a wee bit better than have done years previously, we're still going to put in behind sometimes and get up the park.
I don't think their game plan is about keeping the ball and try to win possession. No, I mean, I think their game plan is going to be very direct. Get it up, get it in, get it held up and get runners off. And I think that's why I said something like McTominay. McTominay could be a good option for that. He's big, he's strong, he knows how to bring players into the game. He's done it with Man U, he's done it for Scotland. If we can get the ball into his feet and kind of higher up the park, and maybe bring in like your Christies or your Forrest or your McGinn to come and join in, maybe become a second striker to go and try and get some goals in the final third for us.
I think that's exactly what he'll do. The games against Switzerland and Hungary, I think it will be McTominay and McGinn just after Shea Adams probably, but then obviously if it's not working, he'll need to bring on a Shankland or but I forget that boy's second name, that Tommy boy, Bristol City, but
Conway, is it?
Conway, I think, is it?
Conway,
aye. He'll have to sort of change at some point, but he's not going to change the system. He's been playing it, that's why we've qualified, we're kind of hard to beat. It's going to be free at the back, and then whoever the sort of next fiver, and then one ahead of that sort of thing.
I think with that as well, it kind of tweaked it the last Euros, and I don't think it went for us. And I think he'll be really wary about doing that, as you say. That's his system, he'll stick with it. We went into that decent form and things like that. I think we maybe go a wee bit, complacency is the wrong word, but tweaking what it worked for us. We made some changes, just wee things, but I don't think he'll do that. I think we'll be hard to beat. I think we'll need to rely on our defence, which Steve Clarke's good at. He's a manager that can do that really well. And I think it is the best route to go down. I don't know how exciting some of our games will be, but I said if we win, who cares?
Aye, exactly. What about the squad then? If we just kind of break it down, then obviously they can have 28, we're down to 27, and we've got the 4 goalkeepers, and there seems to be a lot of speculation. We can't sort of thinking, are we going to take the 4 goalkeepers? I personally don't think there's any requirement to take 4. I think 3 would be more than sufficient. When they're training, there's only ever going to be 2 keepers on the park. I don't know what this 4th goalkeeper is going to add, unless somebody obviously get injured.
So I spoke about loyalty earlier. I think Clarke is very, very loyal with players who have helped him out in the past. I think Craig Gordon very much comes under that category. I think he comes under the category of players who have helped Clarke out and done a job for Clarke in the past. I don't think Clarke can see past that. But I think it's a minimum requirement. Tournament laws say that we need to have 3 goalies. So 4th is a very, very foolhardy option in my opinion. If we're going into a major tournament and we're an outfield player down because he's got a bit of loyalty to a guy, and then I'd be very, very surprised. So I think we will go with 3, and I think Gordon might be the one that misses out.
I think it'd be quite mental to take 4 goalkeepers. Something crazy is going to have to happen to use all 4 of them, isn't it? So I think you take 3. Again, I probably do agree. Craig Gordon maybe just miss out, but
Be him or Kelly, you think?
Aye, well, Gordon's obviously that experience. He did obviously before his injury. It was the goalkeeper, but Kelly's been in the squads. I know he's not really played that much. It's been a boy gun, obviously. I think he starts. Xander Clarke's number 2, and then it's between Gordon and Kelly. I'd probably take Gordon, but it could be either or. I think
it's one of the ones as well. Gordon's been under it, hasn't he, at that level? So as a third choice goalie, I'd maybe take Kelly to get that experience of being part of a tournament, because maybe going forward Kelly's probably get more chance of playing again at another tournament in the future, so he knows what it's all about if he's been there. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, it probably could go 2 ways with that one. Like, the Xander Clarke's not young, but he's not played at a big stage. Oh, excuse me, but you know what I mean. And I think Craig Gordon being in there, obviously he's not played big stage international, but Champions League games, things like that. See, I don't think he'll be there to play, but it might be good for the young goalkeeper gun. If there's a mistake made,
we experienced it doing
it. But there's arguments falling against in that one. I think either way, the first 2 are the first 2, and it's one or the other.
I think the key word earlier was loyalty, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does take Gordon, obviously, like based off of that, but it'll be harsh on Kelly. I think he's had a good season. But time's obviously going to tell. What about another one that a lot of folk are obviously talking about? Ryan Jack hardly kicked the ball this season. Again, he's always sort of in and about the squad, and for me, he's always been a sort of decent player, but he's never. I don't know if he's reached his full potential, and he's never going to be a starter with the midfielders that we've got. Would you take him, or is he the one that's going to get dropped for outfield players?
I think he falls out, to be honest, but I think when he's played for Scotland next to Callum McGregor, I think he's done really, really well. I just think fitness-wise, obviously, I think he's been out most of the season, is that right? He's only,
I'd say he's played 15 games.
I think that might go against him, but when he's come in for Scotland, it's obviously a position we're strong in, but when he's come in and played for Scotland, and it's he's been in next to Callum McGregor a few times, and I thought he's done really, really well, and he's brought better out of Callum McGregor as well. I think Callum McGregor's, I like Callum McGregor, but I don't think he's quite the same he's not got the same influence for Scotland as he has at Celtic, and I think with Jack being there, gives him a wee bit of freedom. But I don't think even if Jack is in the squad he plays, you've got a lot of guys ahead of him anyway.
I think if you watch Bournemouth, Ryan Christie plays a lot deeper for Bournemouth, and he kind of plays in that role where Jack and McGregor are playing, and he's really influential in the games in the Premier League. If I was going to play MDN next to McGregor, I think I'd play Ryan Christie and next to him. I know he likes to kind of have a wee bit higher, a wee bit wider, but I think Christie has played most of the season in the Premier League playing like a six almost, and he's thriving in it. So I don't think you talk about, you get into tournaments, you need to play players who are on form, and I think that's where he's on form, playing as that six with Bournemouth. I think him and McGregor would be a good option, and then you've got other guys that can come in there like Kenny McLean or these guys. I think Ryan Jack falls way behind that pecking order, personally speaking.
Gilmour as well. I reckon it'll probably be Gilmour and McGregor will be the sort of the two that sit.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Rob. With Christie, I think he's been excellent this year. But if Billy Gilmour's fit, having McGregor playing there for me.
It's just like Clarke. I think he gets a hard time. I think we play better fit than what folk sometimes suggest. But there has been a few sort of rotten games and people jump on them. I don't know if he's brave enough to stick Christie in there against the likes of Germany. I would be surprised. I think he'll put Gilmour in there to, when we do have the ball, to try and retain it and take a bit of pressure off.
Gilmour's probably the most, this is controversial, I think Gilmour's probably the most technically gifted footballer in the squad, Billy Gilmour, in terms of being able to take a ball in tight areas and use it and recycle it and keep us in possession. I think him and McGregor are two that could do that, but I think playing deeper, I think it suits Gilmour playing deeper in that role. I think McGregor's better suited kind of playing higher up the park and kind of try to unlock defences with passes. But I think in terms of keeping possession and kind of getting the ball on the feet and taking it under pressure and being brave, I think that's something that Billy Gilmour's really, really good at, and that's his strength.
No, I totally agree. I rate Billy big time. I think he's, as you say, he says it's a bit controversial. I don't think it is. I think he's by far and away the best technical player we've got. And I think that's how it works, because maybe against Germany we can sit the two right front of defence, whereas other games you can maybe let McGregor go a wee bit, but you know he's going to get back in. That's why I wouldn't rule Christie out either, because he can do both. Mm-hmm. He can go, as you said, he's been really good for Bournemouth this year, but he obviously can get forward. He enjoys that side of things as well. But I think there's a good balance with McGregor and Gilmour, who can sit and protect and be tidy with the ball, but McGregor can also burst forward in it. And that's what I like to see him doing. I like to see him getting beyond strikers, make things happen on the edge of the box and things like that. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get Gilmour down at the Rec as he came in for a game?
No, he went down to Glenafton.
His dad still kicks the ball, does he know?
His dad was playing at St James's. His dad's a good pal of mine. He was playing at St James's Park yesterday. It's a sent me to Snapchat. He's no.
Probably his ma, she a good pal.
Carrie's by the way. Carrie's a lovely lassie as well. She is. They are all pals of mine actually. But I feel that Billy was a very good player, but the wee man's got the edge on him. I think he'll not like me saying that, but I'm still not going to happy about that.
What about the group then? What we're thinking, obviously, first game against Germany and then Switzerland and the last game against Hungary.
I think it's one of the ones as well. We kind of did it the last Euros as well, and with the group, and you said, right, you fancy your chances. I think it comes down to that. These games are going to be hard. Germany's always going to be the hardest, but it's one of the ones. I think that if you want to do anything, you need to, that's a good group to do something in, but there's not going to, and it's the old in it, there's definitely going to be games. All the teams in that group are like Scotland and going, right, we'll fancy that one. But, I mean, we've got to fancy beating something, haven't we? So
Exactly.
you go out and you look to do well against Germany, and then the other two, I don't think it's going to be any difference tactically or anything like that. I think it's going to keep shape and try and be solid. And that seems to work for us. But you've got to believe in you. You've got to fancy yourself to get something for it.
I see. I think the Germany game's a free hit for me. Like, we're not expecting to get in it. They're obviously playing. The players are doing very well, sort of domestically and Champions League and things like that. So, if we get in and out of that game, cracking, you just don't want to take it down, and that would be my sort of approach in that game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, German football's on the up just now. It's got a massive resurgence in it, and a lot of young German boys coming through. Young boy Leverkusen.
Witzel, was it?
No, Witzel was a centre back, isn't he? I know you're talking Wirtz, Florian Wirtz.
Aye.
He's flying now. I mean, then you've got him, and then you've got the stalwarts in there. You've got the German guys in there who've been doing it for years and years. So I think the most important part of that is how we set up defensively. I mean, you've got guys there. You've got about 5 or 6 centre backs. I think we need to get that combination right between a wee bit of youth and experience. Again, Porteous, again, to be controversial, I've been shouting for the rooftops for years and years about Ryan Porteous at Rangers. Should have signed him 2 or 3 years ago. I think that's why Josh Doig, another one who's come back to haunt Rangers. I thought we should have signed him. Ferguson, we should have signed him at the time. At the time, I get slated, but now looking at these guys, these are guys Rangers couldn't afford anymore. But back to Scotland, I think Porteous, you get guys who struggle in international football. He looks better. Aye. I think Porteous looks better when he puts a Scotland jersey on. I think in years to come he'll be Scotland captain. I genuinely do. I think he will end up at a Celtic or a club like that going forward. He will move on to bigger, better things, I think. So I think he has to start. I think Porteous has to be. He's aggressive, he's strong, he's good in the air and good in the tackle, he's an organiser. It's who plays next to him. It's about Kieran Tierney's fitness as well. Where's Kieran Tierney in terms of fitness? You know what I mean? Does he play wide left? Is Robertson as well? So do you play him inside?
But Tierney is a back three, and Hendry in the middle. I think that'll be the back three for the first game.
I think Mick Hanley will play.
That's what I was going to mention, because he's got pace, I know.
He did. I know, obviously 4 years ago, but 3 years ago, whatever. But he did really good Euros. He did really good competition in the last one. I think again, get back to I think Steve Clarke really likes him. Mm-hmm. I think he plays in the centre of your defence, and then the other one is either Porteous or Henry. I think that's the choice of the other two. I think Tierney plays left centre half. Mm-hmm. I know there's talk maybe on the right hand side because the injury's there, but I've got a feeling Ralston comes in, and Ralston will play for Celtic, but I think we're really struggling there. Mm-hmm. I think Tierney left centre half is what we'll go with. I think Mick Hanley the centre of the back three, and then as I say Porteous or Henry, because Henry's actually done really well for Scotland. I was maybe a bit wary when he was at Celtic, and he was obviously just a big young raw boy then, but he seems to have grown at a game, and Steve Clarke likes it for Scotland. He's played big games for us, but I do agree. I think Porteous again going to be aggressive, and he's not the dafted people make out. I think that's what he puts on.
He's raw, but he's raw in a clever way, if that makes sense.
That's what I mean. I think he puts on the front of, I know, all the other fans hate him, and his own fans love him. That's how it's meant to be. You don't. It's not a popularity contest. Things like that. You don't want all the other fans to love you. He's very good at what he does. So I'd be more than happy with him being the right centre half.
Is there an argument for 3 of them starting and Tierney playing right?
But that's what I was saying. Obviously, where the injuries, that's been talked about a lot. I think it's. I personally wouldn't, but I think
he's all left fit, isn't he? So I don't know how effective he would be there.
I think you lose a bit. You definitely lose a bit, and it goes back to that old way you try to sort of shoot on people in a wee bit, which I don't like doing. Some of my players might disagree with that right enough, but. I think the argument is, well, there's no standout right back or right wing back, whatever you want to call it, that stops that, and we're stronger in the centre.
But he could play that. He could play that inverted, kind of play like another defensive midfielder as well. If he plays on the right, can't he? He can tuck inside. He's got that in his locker as well. He's strong.
McTominay maybe for the first game, because he can do both. I think he's box to box on me.
Aye. But I think further up as well, because the system we're playing, we kind of play like this kind of 3-4-2-1 as well kind of system into it, or 5, whatever, 5-2-3, whatever we plays. But I think in that shape then, it lets, like I said, the wide defensive players don't need to push up as high because you've got guys in front who've got to do that job for you anyway, you know what I mean? So it lets them kind of be more compact and be more defensive.
Probably especially against Germany.
Aye.
But we're not going to have a lot in the ball games. We're going to be in about Germany's box often enough. We're going to have a right good shape. We're going to be really compact and really narrow. So it'll be interesting. I've got a feeling, you know, Steve Clarke also isn't he afraid to just put somebody in either, you know, so, but I just don't think he's got many options there. I can see it being Ralston, who isn't somebody that I'm screaming for the rooftops that I want it to be, but I just think we're really limited there. It will be Tierney or Ralston for me.
It's just McCrory now, you know, I think he's got a chance.
I don't think so. I think Ralston plays ahead of him. I know he played the other night, but I don't think he starts there for us.
I think he's developed more into a kind of CDM, hasn't he? Doing in England. I know he could play on the right. He used to play right back or whatever when he was younger, Rangers and Aberdeen and all that. But I think it has that boy. I don't think he's got enough. I don't think he's got enough engine to get him down, and also I don't think he's got enough pace to kind of cover that role neither. But I think. I don't know, even Doig, you know what I mean? Josh Doig as well. I don't know, what's the status on him? Is he fit? But there's so many players that are injured just now. And you know what I mean? You're looking at the squad and you're thinking, see, on paper, we've actually got a good squad of bodies, but then you look, there's like 8 of them out. And then I think it does come down to square pegs and round holes. And I think Tierney would fit that kind of wide right, that defensive right hand side. He'd protect that side in the border, do you know what I mean? I think it's an option. I genuinely do. I think Clarke might actually look at that.
I don't think it's something to be fair to do, and he's done it before. But I think he likes Tierney in that left centre half as well. That's been quite a constant in the last couple of years. Sort of taking through the right wing back sort of thing. But must have been a double stupid we've been any of them.
Exactly.
What about the other mobs in Switzerland? You seen much of them? Obviously, I think they've qualified for the past sort of 5 or 6 tournaments on the bounce. They're sort of always there or thereabouts. Like, don't really have any superstars apart from that Sobolotze at Liverpool. Xhaka, but he's not a superstar, is he? He's just kind of workman-like, and Arsenal and Leverkusen, like he's not set the header like for me.
He's kind of invincible in the Bundesliga, isn't he?
Well,
you know, I work with a couple of Arsenal fans and they absolutely. One of them's actually named he's Doug Granite, which I think is really weird. But they love him, and obviously he's the great sees at Leverkusen. Again, he's another one. I think if he plays for you, you love him. And if he's against you, you probably don't speak that highly of him. But you say Switzerland are that. They're always there. They're always consistent, and I think we've played them a couple of times at tournaments and things like that. And
in the past, I think '96 we played against them. I think we might have beat them that day actually. McCoy scored.
McCoy's 1-0, was it?
Aye. And Shaqiri, I don't know if Shaqiri will start for them, but he was their sort of main man obviously for years.
They've got Sommer in goals as well, haven't they? The goalie, Jan Sommer. He plays for. No, who does Jan Sommer play for? Inter. Plays for Inter now, aye. So no one knows his football. Aye. So they've actually got a bad squad. Again, another one's on paper. As you say, they're always there or thereabouts, and that's the big one. These are the ones that Scotland struggle with. The ones where they expect us to do well.
Aye, I'm excited. I'm excited with Germany, and I'm terrified for Switzerland.
Aye.
That is the key game, but because like I said, chances are probably like 7 times out of 10 we're probably going to get beaten that first game, right? And then cut our draws and maybe win one of them. So Switzerland, you'd need to take at least a point for that game, because forget now, but there's the 3 best third place teams, or the 4 out of the third best third teams go through. So you're going to probably need to get 3 points or 2 points at least.
That's what I mean. You go back to that sort of thing. You look at it and give the respect, but eventually you've got to say, listen, if we want to do it, we need to beat them.
That's it. Just wanted to try to kind of pull up the Swiss squad here, but Switzerland are always a well-organised team as well, aren't they? They've always got a couple of, I know you can back years and years ago, they had the Yakin brothers, not remember all them, but
He's the manager, isn't he?
He's a Hakan Yakan, see the manager now. So he's been running about the block as well. He knows tournament football. In terms of Hungary as well, as you said, they've got Sabozlai, they've got guys who have kind of who are playing at a decent level as well. But we need to get into that game. And if anything, you talk about shape and talk about being defensive. If he's going to try anything like offensively attacking, or if he wants to pull a rabbit out of the hat, it has to be a Hungary game. It has to be the last game, because I think that's going to be a kind of a be-all.
We might have to change something and go for something.
I fucked up. I was saying he played for Switzerland. He's the game boy.
I know what you meant.
But they've not been beaten in this qualifying round, Hungary, and they bet like in the last few years, England, Germany, teams like that. So I think for me, like that's you don't want to underestimate them in any way, sort of shape or form. So that's how I think that Switzerland. Obviously, if you win that game, you're absolutely laughing. So I think we have to follow absolutely everything in that.
Well, looking at the Swiss squad, they've got the boy Akanji, as well, ain't they, at Man City. You know what I mean? They've got a big boy Shar and all that, who plays for Newcastle. But
that boy facing Milan and all that was at Salzburg.
Right.
What's his name again?
Was it Montero? No, the boy that plays up front. But you can tell we're really kind of know our stuff here, kind of.
It's Okafor, AC Milan boy.
Oh, aye.
And that Amdouni for Burnley, I know. So, but we've got players that are playing at a good level as well.
So, that, by the way.
I've got some notes. Research.
I'm googling it as we speak.
Aye, but as I say, I think we've got some we've got boys that are playing at a good level. I mentioned it earlier, but I think Ferguson been injured as a gutter. I know I'd love to have seen him getting actually maybe a chance in the Scotland sort of setup. I think when he comes back, he should be really sort of pushing for a start. Most of the time, he's had an unbelievable season, and like you say, the Aberdeen, I was the same. I was wanting Celtic to sign him. I don't know if he would ever sign for Celtic, his family connections, but. What a player I think he is. He's absolutely brilliant.
I think when Ferguson's back, we need to make sure we can get him in the squad. And if that's tweak systems and things like that, then you do it, because the season he's had unbelievable. He adds a lot of goals from midfield. We need that with the way we've got things set up. Also, McTominay's been great for us in the qualifiers, but McGinn obviously chips in as well. But we need goals from midfield. And Ferguson, hopefully, goes back and he's back to his best when he comes back as well, because he can be a massive player for Scotland for years to come.
I think midfield is where we're strongest, without doubt. And if Lewis Ferguson's in that squad, I think we're even stronger. This is a weird comment to make, but it doesn't weaken us. I'm not being in the squad, but mind you, because we go there before him. You know what I mean? We go there with like some again, McTominay, who have been stalwarts, guys who maybe at club, again, McGinn's a captain and McTominay, but the amount of goals McTominay scored in the qualifiers, he's top goal scorer, more goals than Cristiano Ronaldo in the qualifiers for attacking, not even for attacking midfielder. He's kind of on paper, he's a box to box midfielder, isn't he? I think that's phenomenal, and that's how I think maybe there's something in the guy that maybe we can kind of unlock during the Euros. He might actually be the one. He might be the one who gets us something. He might be the one who's our top goal scorer. Again, it's not a radical statement to make if he's been that in the qualifiers, but he might be the one that kind of goes and gets the goals.
The thing that he does well, and people talk about top goal scorers and all that, but if you put 4 in against Gibraltar or something, it can be a bit false. He's scored in big games for us. When we need him, and that's obviously a mark of a proper player going and doing it when we really need you.
Mm-hmm. And McGinn speaks for himself, doesn't he? Everything the guy's achieved, club football. Like first time Aston Villa been in the Champions League for 35 years. He's a skipper. That's not a coincidence. The guy's a leader, and I think that's what the squad needs. Needs leaders, especially when the backs. There's going to be a lot of pressure. Our backs are going to be at the wall, maybe 50-60% of the time in games. We need somebody that's going to kind of get into the trenches and say, "Listen, guys, let's keep working. Let's get something for us." I think McGinn's the kind of guy who would kind of grab you by the scruff of the neck and kind of pull you through the trenches with him. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the thing we're talking about Swiss squad, and it's hard to say this Swiss squad and the Hungary squad, things like that.
Swiss squad.
But you look at the players we've got. Like we've got players who are big players for their clubs, who are playing in good leagues. And I think we've got, hopefully they, and I'm sure they will, they've got that wee bit of belief as well that they can go and they can be big game players, and they can handle big occasions. They
will. I think that's why we've qualified, because it seems like there's this kind of no weird, but the boys are really close knit. They've got that sort of, it's like a club team almost. And Rob mentioned earlier, like Porteous, since he has came in, brilliant point, he's been absolutely tremendous for Scotland. He's like grew into the role. It's like he sort of went, I'm no fucking leaving this, like I'm where I need to be sort of thing. I'd say he's a leader, Robertson's a leader, Tierney's got that sort of lead, McGregor, there's leaders all the part. You know, I think we've got a right good chance. I've convinced myself that the Switzerland game is going to be the one. So
typical Scotland, we'll get beat 1-0 off Germany, right? We'll get it full of confidence against Switzerland, get pumped 2-3-0. We'll need something for Hungary game, we'll get it, but we'll get popped 2 in goal difference.
Get used to this wee man.
What about the other teams then? Is any other sort of maybe somebody that you're looking at as an outsider, any players that you're looking forward to seeing?
Oh, I've always had a soft spot for France. Always. Zidane is my ultimate all-time favourite footballer, Zinedine Zidane. That kind of era, I've grown up playing football, try to watch guys like him, you know what I mean? So I've always had a soft spot, and I think France, in my eyes, are favourites. I've not seen the bookies, but
England's the favourite.
Are they? Well, that's interesting as well. But in my eyes, France are favourites. You've got the best player in the world just now. You probably got the best coach in the world in world football, in terms of international football, in terms of Deschamps, what he's won, what he's done. And I think France have always got this. France are brilliant for bringing through young players, aren't they? Young players as well, who are maybe on the fringes, who kind of come to the fore in big tourneys. But Mbappe, in my opinion, Mbappe's the best player in the world just now. And I think if you've got the best player in the world, you've always got a chance of winning the tournament.
And again, he does it big games, that's what makes him the best in the world. But I think you can go into every tournament, you know, it's the whole time. Who do you think? Before you even know anything, you'd say France, just counts France. But the players that they have got, the match winners, and they've got a good defence as well. So you look at their midfield, it'll be freaking, you know, midfield. Portugal got quite a lot of good players. Get into it. Even at the back, they're a bit more solid looking as well. So they could be thereabouts. You've mentioned England, midfield to front, they look really, really good. Couple of maybe guys who are a wee bit dodgy at defence, but I really hope not.
Well, I think the next couple of years, I think Bellingham will be the best player in the world. I genuinely do. Boy's only 19, and his levels that he's at just now is frightening for a young boy. And well, he's 20 now, and his levels are frightening, and he's getting better and better. And he's one of these guys, he could play anywhere in midfield. He could play 6, 8, 10, even 11 at a stretch. You know what I mean? He could play anywhere. I
see when he went to Madrid, it's kind of changed. And it's worked for him. Actually, it's been brilliant for him with the goals he scored and that. But they've gave him that even more freedom sort of thing. He's different. He's just unreal, isn't he?
There's a comparison between him and Zidane, which I find really hard to see, because I've studied Zidane inside and out, and I can see what they're talking about in terms of his runs and stuff, and his technique's brilliant, but it's not on a par with Zidane in my opinion. But his technique's brilliant for a young guy to have the confidence and the bravery to take the ball in the areas that he takes the ball in, to go and do and try the things to make the runs that he makes. For a young guy, frightening. Next couple of years, he'll go to the next level, no doubt.
That's why I love his mentality. His mentality is frightening. He's no phased at all, and just he thrives on it. And he just wants to play in the biggest games, and
he wants to win them and all. That's the difference. He wants to win the big games, and he wants to be the man that wins the big games. A boy that age, even at Dortmund, 18, 19, like kind of like turning people in corners and doing skills, and then going and kind of getting the numbers that you go at Dortmund to go and even better than the numbers at probably the hardest league in the world, in La Liga.
I seen Rooney talking about him just the other day, and when he was at Derby, he played sort of deep in the 6, and Bellingham went up against him, and Rooney said he was dragging him about a wee bit. Bellingham was 16 at the time, and but when it was a tackle, also Rooney was a bit feisty as well. He says Bellingham was leaving marks on him and things like that, but just that sort of, I don't care who you are, I'm here to win this game of football.
He's a winner.
Rooney loved it as well, but yeah, that's class, man.
Foden as well for me. I don't know if Southgate likes him as much, but I've sort of been singing his praises for years, and I think he could have a big tournament if he plays his sort of top level. He could be the player of the tournament for me. He's just got that kind of ability where he can jink in and out. He can score for 25 yards, 30 yards. He can dribble past a couple of players play folk in. He's just a complete player, I know.
The story is, isn't it, when Guardiola first went to Man City and he seen Foden on the training ground, like we're under 18s or something, when Foden was like a young boy and walking about, and he said to the chairman or something at the time, I'll sign if you sign that boy in a long-term contract, because he'll win everything here for us. Talk about Foden even back then, watched him. And what a season he said as well, off the back it, what a season. And he's another one, he's a game changer. And that's the thing about England, they've got lots of game changers. I'm saying this out of envy and a wee bit of vitriol as well, but there's guys in there who could go and like turn a game like that. And looking at us, have we got that? No.
we've never had it, though, have we, for a few years?
I know.
Foden, I think Foden's top drawn. I think the boy's brilliant. Love watching him play football. Like, sort of still a wee bit like I know Guardiola sort of makes it a team thing and everything in the system, which is great to watch, but he's still a wee bit like a street player. He's still got that wee bit to him, and it just looks like he's really enjoying his football now as well, which will be bringing out the best of him. But again, it's just that I think in the last competition, I don't think he'd done it as much. I think he was in and out the squad of the team, and I think he's got to go and really grab it by scruff of the neck. And as we're talking about Bellingham does, he does it for Man City, Foden, and he's a top player. But Man City are a team full of winners, whereas England aren't. You know, Bellingham's just won that, but the guys in that England team, the sort of top guys, then there's no many. I might be right. There's probably something maybe look stupid here, but there's no many standouts who's guys, right, you've won 5 leagues in a row, you've done that. I know John Stones has been in for City, Kyle Walker, but middle to front, I don't think there's any sort of standouts who say Bellingham will probably do it, but the other ones to go and say, right, I'm going to grab this with Scuffy and Ice.
That's what gives me the fear a bit, because the likes of Harry Kane, this could be one of his last tournaments. So, like, if they're going to win it, this would surely be the year for them.
I think Harry Kane's allergic to trophies. Everywhere he goes, the trophies run away from him, didn't he? He went to Bayern to win it, and they finished third, and they get pumped out of the Champions League. But
hopefully he's listening to this, and that'll maybe get his head a wee bit. I think last one for me would be Belgium. Like, they've had this all these prospects for years and years. It's sort of great squad, but again, De Bruyne kind of getting on in age a bit. They would be the sort of, them in Portugal would be the kind of two.
I think Spain, mate. I think Spain maybe as well. Spanish have all, even the Germans. I mean, it's a home tie for them essentially. Every game's a home game, innit? And they do have this crop coming through just now who are going to be frightening. So I get you. Belgium though kind of come at the end of this kind of golden generation though. They're all kind of.
I think they'll bring a lot of young boys through, a lot of new ones through next summer to Germany. And I think people are forgetting about Germany a wee bit because of the few of the results and the build up. But they played a lot of friendlies. Obviously, they're qualified automatically, so they played about things quite a lot in their games where the results probably didn't look great, but they were getting things just to know they're fit a bit of form. Again, it is just friendlies, but it seems to have got right, here's how we're going to do it, and it's worked for them so far. So they're hitting a bit of form just in time for us. I think
that's a thing though, like historically with teams that are hosting, they just kind of have this awkward run up, but hosting teams have done a great record in terms of winning it and getting late on in the tournament.
We get shafted, didn't we, in France in '98, where our opening game we played Brazil, and usually it's France who usually open. So we should really, because the game get moved or something. So that was our chance to go and come up against France. It might have been rusty, but you get a Brazil team that's absolutely flying. So that was the only time, because they won it, wasn't it? That's why they opened it.
I can't even mind why it was.
They won at '94, and that's how they opened it. But I think it changed, didn't it?
It changed after it was the host nation opens it. So that's what I'm saying. So we get shafted on that. If we were playing France, mind you, France were going to win that.
France won it, so we probably could easily game it too.
Zidane was flying, but it's just good to watch him, isn't it?
It was the bad getting to watch Ronaldo 9, Rivaldo, Cafu and all that, you know.
Ronaldo 9, R9. He's probably the best in terms of middle to front striker, whatever has ever been. I mean, you can talk about CR7 and all that, but I think R9 is next level again. He's another one who gave a ball in a tie. He can nutmeg to use the old expression, nutmeg what was it? nutmeg, a mermaid with a beach ball and a phone box.
Tommy Boyd had it sorted.
Previous California, I guess. Like and subscribe, lads.
That's what I was talking about.
Has Tommy Boy still got Laudrup's boot for Hampden that day?
I don't know. I never asked him that.
No, that's my memories.
Aye, we've done about 40 minutes. Is there anything else you've got to cover after the Euros? Nah.
I've bluffed it for as long as we can.
No, maybe. No, I'm fine. Top goal scorer, maybe no.
Aye. Well, who are you predicting then?
I don't know.
Well, Ronaldo's surely going to be usual playing every game, and he'll just sort of sit, and he's not going to do as much running. That's him. He's kind of past that stage. But again, I think Portugal will get a nucleus of a good squad, so he'll be there or thereabouts as usual.
Changed his game, didn't he, a few years ago, Ronaldo, where he didn't go and do all the dollies and wide areas. And I watched on our night there for Al Hilal, scoring some worldly still. He still looks really agile. He still looks really sharp, over 10 yards around the box. Wouldn't surprise me if he pops up with 3 or 4 goals, Ronaldo.
Kane and all, I think it could be a decent tournament for Kane if he gets the right chances. I like he's a kind of one chance, one goal kind of guy.
I know we'll find a way to get on that, but because of the season you said, he's going to be angry like that. I think it's going to beat away at him. He's going to have a point to prove, I think, as well. So he'll be hitting everything, free kicks, penalties, the whole lot about the box. So he could be a shout for it. It obviously depends how far they get. I think they will get quite far. Again, obviously Mbappe. Both kind of thought France will win it, and the top scorer usually comes for the winning team, and he's the main man, centre forward, the whole lot. So I think it's probably an easy bet, but I would go with him.
If I were you outsider, kind of having watched him and stuff play for Dortmund through Champions League qualifiers, I think the boy Füllkrug's in finishing as well. I don't know, seen the squad, Füllkrug?
I don't know.
When they look, hold on.
I can't.
German.
I
was right, he's German.
Is he?
Is he in the squad
Come on,
though?
you.
I know. So he's got in the Champions League. He's got he's got 3 goals in 13 games. His record's not that good, but watched him. I thought he looked.
Check if he's in the squad. If he's in, we can cut this bit if he's not.
I was watching, obviously in the Dortmund game. He scored a couple of goals that were marginally offside in the final, but his movement I thought was really good.
Because when I was looking at the squad all night, that Cedric Hinton had scored a few goals in the qualifiers for Switzerland, but he's not in the squad.
Did they not make it?
No, he's not called up, and they had that Mbolo guy and all. Boy, that scored a couple in the last, and he's injured, so they're doing a couple of players.
Right. The Germany squad, I forgot about him, man. Havertz had a good season, didn't he, towards the end of it as well. Füllkrug's in the squad, he's in the German squad apparently.
There you go, that's your outsider.
There you go, that's your bookmark that comment.
I don't gamble, so it'll be for me. What about, Sean, I seen you with our dear the other day, 125 year anniversary.
It's some achievement, to be honest. Obviously, I've only been there, this was my 4th year, so a lot of stuff done well before me. I'm definitely not that old, so hopefully we can make an exciting year for him. There's a load of work to get done. We are having a decent summer, but my bit that I'm doing with signings and keeping players, and we're doing okay, but we've not really put anything in it because social media's going to be this big on view with the 125 year thing. So everything's going well just now, so exciting times.
I don't be fast, mate. What about you? Any you wanted to cover after before we go? You were telling us some offers in the post there.
I don't want to mention any clubs now because I've not made my mind up, but obviously, don't know big man knows, but last season I finished off, I was a head coach with Clydebank Ladies. I was a head coach and I take them from bottom of the league up to 4th in the last 16 in the cup. But the calling of men's football is too much for me. I've had a few offers on the table for a couple of clubs, a junior team, a couple of quite high-end amateur teams as well. So something I'm mulling over to go back into. I think I've had another couple of women's teams at higher level who've asked me as well. But I think I'm drawn to men's football rather than women's football. And that's nothing against women's football. I've really enjoyed my time there. I think it's on the up. I think in this country, next 5-10 years, I think you might see a Scotland women's team, and maybe the quarterfinals, even. I mean, maybe even, I don't know, the semi-finals are a major tournament because the amount of money that's getting pulled in infrastructure, women's football in this country. But I think for me personally, I think I'm going to end up back in men's football next year.
Aye, we keep us updated anyway. I think we've covered half of the Euros anyway, so I think we'll call it there, lads. I appreciate you coming in again.
Thanks so much, mate.
Cheers,
It was a
mate.
pleasure.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.